Alrighty, here we are. So what we're ended up doing is we're doing a little bit of painting here, and we are gonna get over here to the desk, and we shall start. So with that, this is the sword that we ended up doing, the Crimson sword from SARWTIN guy. So this came out really good. We finally did all the painting on it, and we are good. At least the big painting and everything. And seriously, I'm trying to get the YouTube to pop up. So if we got any questions or whatever. And we're not getting a stream. Crazy. Okay, whatever. So we've got a couple of colors. We've got crimson and we have scarlet. And I think the crimson is close to what we're going to be doing here. Okay, so now we got up. Okay, we're up and running. So anyway, hey, we are going to do this. You know what? Let me get one thing. We're going to get a little bit of a hat action. Since it's a bad hair day, and since I don't have a lot of good lighting, so I apologize for that, but we're here for the paint, we're not here for me. So, has this got a cap on it? Yes, it does. And we got George pops in, says hello. Good to see you again. Got a bad hair day. So we're going to do a little bit of, wow, it's a lot. Now we need a paper towel. Which, I'll just take one off of there. So we're using the crimson. We'll see how this turns out. So, like I said, the sword turned out pretty good. Got some good details on it. And what we're doing is we're going to add some more details to the little engraving, the notches in here. So we'll just put some red in these things here, and we should be good to go. We get a little bit of water. That is full. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of it's going to be a lot of paint. This is acrylic, so I think we'll be okay. Should be good. And let's see how this will look. Oh yeah, I think this will be pretty good. This will add a little bit more more cool detail, which I think will be nice. Again, some just quick little that'll look kind of good. So if you can see that there, yeah. So I think that'll look nice. Again, just a little bit of a detail. Yeah, it's rainy today here in Korea. So we're just kind of staying inside. Had a big workout yesterday. I was going to go to the gym today, but then I said, you know what? Let's just skip that. We'll just make it a rest day. And then we'll just hit it hard again tomorrow. So that's what we'll do. That's a lot of paint. But we can just run our finger across that and we're good to go. Yeah, I think this will turn out pretty good. Might take a while for this to dry a little bit, and then once it dries, we'll end up and we'll go through and do some varnish on it. Clear coat varnish. Kind of a glossy varnish. So yeah, good stuff indeed. Turn this beast of a sword around so I can get this other side. You know, it'd be really cool as if you cut these lines out with a Dremel and then put like an LED light strip behind here. That would look really cool. I was thinking about that yesterday. I was like, man, that would look really, really cool. Let's see, what else do we got going on? Other than that, looking at more 3D printers, because still thinking about getting another one. And I was taking a look at the Snap Maker, which has that multi-head system on it, which is pretty nice. That would definitely cut down the time in which it takes to do some printing with different colors and stuff. And so, but again, I don't know, there's a few things I'd like to print with like a multicolor system. I don't know if it would be something that I'd do a lot. So, and I'd want something with a little bit of a larger build area. Wonder if I should do these little lines along the side. They're not real pronounced. Let's try it and see. Yeah, I guess I could do that. I'm definitely going to need some more, a little bit more paint. So the crimson looks pretty good. I think that'll work out well. And with the little bit of little tiny bits that we got on there. Should be good. Just do a little bit, one drop. So winter's coming, but we got kind of a chilled out winter. Head also means multi-material supports. That's true, multi-heads, you could do that. So if you print something in like PLA, and then you could use PTG for the interface layers, so you get real good clean supports. Man, it's just super tiny. Maybe I need to get a smaller brush. I think I do. So yeah, there's that. And then some people were telling me about a, what was it? It was a water-soluble supports. And that is a thing. So that way, you just, whatever you print, you end up, that stuff just ends up dunking it in water and supports come off. But I haven't seen a lot of people doing that. So, I don't know. I think this will work. It's a way smaller brush, but I think it'll give a, yeah, that'll be good. But that didn't really seem to take off like a lot of people thought it would with water-soluble supports. I don't know, there's a couple models that I would like to do. For water-soluble, not water-soluble, but multi-material or multicolor. So, but I don't know if that would be a thing I would do all the time. In other words, there's a couple of projects I'd like to do some stuff for my daughter of doing multicolor prints. But, and I've got the Creality K2 Plus with a CFS system. But I'm talking about a multi-tool head, kind of like the Snapmaker, which Snapmaker's pretty good. I was looking at that, the stats on that, and the specs on that this morning, and it's pretty nice. And with that is something that could be, and it's like $800, $900 or something. You get what, 4 or 5 heads or something like on there. That would be a pretty, it's not bad. And it's like a 300 cube build area. So that's not too bad either. So, but I think I'd want to have something just a little bit bigger. Gotta make sure I don't get my fingers into that. So, I don't know. But with the Snapmaker U1, I imagine they're going to be coming out with another one here pretty soon in this next year. So especially right on the heels of their Kickstarter, which was highly successful. And with that, you know, you can imagine with all the stuff that they were doing with the U1, it'll definitely be a lot easier for them to get with their to get loans and stuff like that. So that'll definitely help them get some more funding and being able to do some pretty cool stuff. So hopefully with a bigger system, bigger build area. I really got to clean up my desk one of these days. One of these days. So yeah, I imagine Snapmaker will come out with a larger build area for whatever they're going to do next. And then of course there'll be some more advancements on that. So we'll see how that goes. So I'm kind of like, hold off. Let's hold off on the Snapmaker and see what happens. To see what they come out with next, and especially with whatever they come out next is going to be probably pretty huge, because Snapmaker was a pretty good company for a while, and they were just kind of like, you know, kind of a smaller-ish company. And then, you know, they had some bed slingers or whatever, but it wasn't really, you know, knock it out of the park type of thing. And then this U1 came along and it was just like, whoa. So somebody was doing some forward thinking with that U1. But I think their next round, whatever machine they come up with next, that is going to be pretty impressive. Because now that they've proven themselves, they're going to come out with probably some good stuff. So that'll put them, and then of course Bondtech with their index system with Prusa is pretty good. And so that'll be interesting, but that's going to be an expensive beast, especially if you get like the Core 1L. Bit of red detailing here. Yeah, I think this little bit of details here works pretty nice. So yeah, it'll be Snapmaker is going to be a company to look for, and especially since they hit a home run with that U1. Because they did a real good job on that. But Prusa and that Core 1L, the larger build area, that looks pretty nice too. But it still seems that Prusa's like a day late, just a half step behind. You know, I mean, I do appreciate their like open source, and then or focus on security, so you don't have to be hooked up to, you know, the net, and you don't have to get some type of crazy authorization key, kind of like you have to do with Bamboo. So that's good, but I don't know, it just seems like Bamboo is, or not Bamboo, but Prusa is just kind of like, it's almost there, but they're missing some stuff. I don't know, just kind of a interesting little thing they got going on. George says, I couldn't talk much. I was preparing bacon dogs. No problem. I said I'm just kind of chilling out. Not doing, just kind of taking it easy. So just kind of just relaxing. What does it say? Prusa, pricey but high quality. That is true. But the thing that got me about Prusa was that, like their little menu knob thing, you get the little, to manipulate the menu. That just seemed like, I don't know, outdated. And then now they got some touch screens. But there was something else. I can't remember off the top of my head, but there was something else that they had some issues with that I was like, really? Still? And then some other people were kind of mentioning that that they're kind of dropping the ball a little bit on some stuff for like customer service. They've had some real good customer service. That's a lot of paint. So, but I don't know. The core one, that is very tempting. But yeah, it's pricey, that's for sure. You're gonna pay that premium. But the good thing is that Prusa is really good as far as like upgrades. So you buy a machine and you know that it's going to be included in an upgrade or could be upgraded without much fuss. Whereas a lot of other companies, they just come out with a new machine and that's, you got to buy a new machine. Whereas Prusa, they ended up, they make a machine and then they come out with a new machine, but then they have an upgrade kit that you can take the old machine and upgrade that to the new one. So I like the modularity of that. That's kind of a cool thing. So that's kind of a nice little function they got there. I'm happy with Anycubic. It's been good to me. Yeah, that's good. And that's, I think we're getting to the age now where, with 3D printers, they've advanced so much that most 3D printers are pretty good, as long as you take care of them. And most companies have worked out a lot of the bugs and everything, not like it was like 10 years ago or so, where you spent a lot of time tinkering versus printing. I think we're running out of paint here. So, yeah, this turned out pretty good. I like this. So, yeah. But it's good that you're having good results with that. Being happy is good. Being happy is good. That's what I like. I mean, I just want to buy something, have it work, and yeah, be happy. Just want to be happy. Alrighty, let's let us continue on. Again, I need to clean the desk one of these days, but it's like, there's nothing. But I am getting better. Usually my regular desk, my computer desk usually ends up just being horrible. But I told myself, I got to try to just keep it clean as much as possible. And so it doesn't get overcrowded with a bunch of junk. So I'm trying to make a concerted effort to do that. Yeah, I like the red. Ties this in a little bit more. Definitely liking it. But it's kind of seeping in. It's losing that. I don't know. Maybe I brushed against this, but when it dries, it seems to be a little. You can see that there, how it seems to be a little dull. And like I said, maybe I brushed against it, maybe. Or maybe it just kind of, I don't know, soaked in. But I did do a couple of coats on the black with the varnish, but usually that, and it was dry, so yeah, it's kind of dulling out a little bit, which isn't too bad, I guess. I don't know, works out okay, I guess. Again, just a little bit of details. Then I think once we get the lock all this in with another coat or two of the clear coat varnish, glossy varnish. We'll see how it turns out. See what is some other stuff I've been checking out. Korea's cracking down on immigration, as with many other countries. Because for some strange reason they're figuring out, hey, nobody gets a free ride. So so that looks good. You can see that. Comes out, adds a little bit of detail on there. I like that. Probably won't go too overboard. I'll do some black. I guess we could do black. And try that. Lamp black. Okay, let's give this a shot and see what happens. It's almost like it's got kind of a bluish tone to it. No, it's kind of black. That's blackish, blacker. And we'll do some of the, maybe we'll just do, there's not a lot. So I think I'll just not. I don't think I'll add any water to this. Have a spot on the crossguard. Are you going to make a resin gem for it? You're talking about like right here. We did this one, and it's kind of glossy. If you're talking about this up here, I was kind of looking at that too. As a matter of fact, I was thinking about maybe painting these little veins here in red, and then maybe do some red, but I don't know. You got the outline of this one is black. Maybe just do red on these. You know, add a little bit of an accent, and maybe around the edge of this do red. Because it seems like it's a lot of black. So maybe do some red cracks in there or something. So kind of like what we're doing on the black here. So maybe I might do that. So we'll see how that goes. Man, I used a lot of black. So we'll see. We will see. Man, I just screwed that up, didn't I? Not too bad. Just need to be careful. Chillin' Connect says, hello, welcome back. Doing a little bit of detail work on the sword here. So kind of enjoying that. Finished it pretty much as far as the printing and putting it together and everything. So that came out pretty good. We did finish painting the pommel and handle, that end piece there. So we did that. So now we're just doing a little bit of detail work on here. So just kind of chilling Jill says, I could never get that intricate with that little painting you have. It looks very nice. Oh, thank you. You know, it's funny because you print something out and it's like, oh, that's cool. And then you paint a little bit and then you learn to paint, you know, some techniques or whatever. And then you do some more and then it's like, man, this needs more. So it's just kind of an interesting little thing that pops up. Jill says, by the way, my painting session, paint gets everywhere. Well, I'm doing pretty good. I got some paint mess up. Good thing with acrylic paint is that they're water-based. So it's not too bad. And if you screw up, you know, you can always just repaint it. So. There's not a lot of stuff down here, so I don't know. Bigger. Chillin' Connect says, do you have an airbrush? Yes, I do. I actually do have an airbrush. I've got probably like what everybody started out with, just the El Cheapo from Amazon. And then I was having a horrible time airbrushing, and I was like, you know what, I just don't get this. And then I ended up getting a Harder and Steenbeck Ultra 2024. And that made, and a compressor, and it made a world of difference. Some people have had good results with just the El Cheapo airbrush that you get off of Amazon, but me, not so much. But once I got that compressor, it was really, really good. I'm guessing it get very messy. So, well, no, not really. With the an airbrush, it's not that bad. And like I did the Hulk, a lot of my Hulk, the Hulk miniature that I did the majority of that with airbrush, and that turned out really nice. And for the smaller models and things like that, it's pretty good. So that ends up being okay. But for larger stuff, that's where it's going to get interesting. Especially when I get into some larger models. And doing stuff like this isn't bad. Because this is, I could do this, you know, this was cut into pieces, so it ends up, it wasn't really too bad as far as painting it. So, but anything bigger than this, holy crow, that would be quite the interesting endeavor. So that's why I'm going to try to make a larger paint booth with some plastic, basically make like a plastic room, and we'll see how that goes. So that way I can do a little bit larger stuff. So, yeah. That'll get interesting. But it's got to get like a box fan. So we'll get that, and then I've got an AC infinity fan, so I've got that. But talking about doing like a life-size figure and being in an apartment, it's going to be an interesting little thing to do. So just knock over stuff. Of course, if I do a larger thing, then that would end up needing more paint. And so then the problem with that is that for like models like this, it's not too bad. But when you start getting bigger stuff, then using the modeling paint and stuff like that becomes cost prohibitive. For miniatures, it's fine, but for this, yeah. Like this Art Deco, these Art Deco paints are pretty good. They're not bad. So yeah, not bad. You can see that there. The red really soaked in. I'm really disappointed in the red. But it's kind of an off color, so I don't know. Maybe we'll have to go back and do another coat. But you can see how that is, it's almost like it's soaking in, which is strange because I did clear coat that. So I don't know, I might have to do a few coats and then clear coat it and just call it good. So we will see. Let's go ahead and we'll just continue doing the black on this side. Wish there's a little bit more detail on the blade. Like these little cracks and crevices and things like that. And I could always paint those in. It's almost like you wish there was like runes going up the length of the blade or get some more damage spots or whatever. So but with the black, it's pretty easy. The black is going on really good. I like that contrast that we get. But still, it's pretty cool model for the sword. Or maybe part of the problem with that red is because I did add water to it. So there's that. And with this black, I haven't added any water. So maybe that's it. Maybe I just watered it too much. Nice. But yeah, turned out good. Turning out well. But yeah, I think so. This is going to turn out pretty good. Little details matter. Make sure I don't hit the other side. Hit the other models. Don't want to do that. So I don't want to mess up the paint on the other side. That's some. What else is going on? See that stuff in the UK where people get arrested for posting stuff on social media? That's crazy. That is crazy indeed. I think everybody's got some level of freedom of speech until somebody doesn't like it. And that can be problematic. Even here in Korea, it's kind of an interesting thing because the current president, he's basically saying, well, they're going to make some laws that if you have disinformation or false information, you can be punished for it. Or the other thing was, if you say something, an opinion, that is considered, that is hateful disguised as an opinion, then yeah, that's kind of like crazy. So, who's going to be the arbitrator of, who decides what's hateful or not? Is it dependent upon who's in control? And if you're having a different opinion than the current government, what is that gonna be like? So, yeah, it's just very, very problematic, very, very vague. So, that's just something that's kind of an interesting little thing that they got going on here in Korea. Oh, damn it. And that is why I like acrylic paints, because you can use some water and you can fix stuff real quick. I just need to be careful. And I like how with this it kind of hid some of the separation of the pieces by making them kind of like scratches and stuff like that. I think you need a little bit more scratches and to kind of hide some of that stuff. And so it's not like, I have a black line right there and boom, that's it. You got to have some other lines to so we'll just kind of throw in some other little squiggles in here and see if we can't do that. Just kind of make it flow a little bit more. So yeah. Just add a little bit more detail. And just some spots. You could probably go through and do this with like a black Sharpie or whatever, but you might end up getting a little bit of a I don't know what I'm saying. We'll see. Let's see, what else? That looks a little better. I like that. So you can see there, kind of broke it up a little bit. Add some more marks on there. So that way it kind of looks like it's more kind of flows a little bit. Just kind of a little bit of difference. Just break up the massive amounts of red that are on there. Let's see. Just a little bit of, tiny little bit of detail work. So I'll have to do the other side as well. So the wife is watching some kind of Christmassy thing, probably Hallmark Channel. Okay, I think it's good. I think it'll be good. Let's go ahead and switch back to the other side. We'll do some more black over here. Sleepless in Seattle, that's what she's watching. Tom Hanks and was it Meg Ryan? Okay, I think we're good there. Got enough little black spots on there to kind of break up the mass amounts of red that we had on the blade, which I think is good. I'm not going to do anything on these, on the red down there, because the hand's going to be covering the hilt and the handle and the pommel, so I think we're good there. So, what we can do is the red on this. So we can go back to red, and I think with the red, what we can end up doing is, where do we do with the red? Somewhere, where is it? Vermilion, scarlet, crimson, there we go. Now the other red, what I ended up doing was watering that down. So I think I'm not going to water down this, and we'll just go thick. Yeah, we'll give that a shot, and we'll start with the little stuff, and then we'll switch to a bigger brush to get some of this bigger stuff, and then we'll do the smaller stuff. So that way we can try to lay this in a little bit thicker than what we did on the other side. So hopefully this thicker application will be good. And it won't be as watered down as... So we'll see if this soaks in, kind of like that other side. Because that was a little... I was really surprised that that happened. Maybe I didn't... I don't know, maybe I didn't get enough clear coat on there. Or maybe I didn't clear coat that side. That's a possibility. As I have been doing this kind of late at night. Wish this had more well-defined runes on here. That would be pretty good, kind of like the Viking runes or whatever. But yeah, I'm wondering if I just didn't get enough of this clear coat on here on the black, or if I just didn't get this side, because it's not like going on like the black on the red. So we'll see. Hopefully the audio is not coming through and I get a copyright strike. That would suck. Not that I'm talking a lot anyway, but... This makes me wonder if a acrylic paint pen would come in handy here. Yeah, I think this is soaking in like the other side for the red, so it's not really... I guess I just kind of messed up on the clear coat. But even if it fades in there, it can still be... Still add a little bit of color, so not as bright as what I wanted, but... I did want to do a whole production of this, and I thought about thought about going through and then priming everything and then painting. But then I was like, that's what I was kind of like, let's just do the varnish. Maybe that'll kind of like basically prime it. But I don't know, that probably wasn't a good idea. Oh well. This will be good enough. Lessons learned. It's my first sword, so it is what it is. Yeah, it's soaking into the material, so you're not getting a real brilliant color on here. So or if I do this next time, I'm going to get a multi-head printer. I could just color it and have the color the lines in and have the printer fill that in with colored filament on my next printer, if I go that route. So I don't know. Anybody else remember or think of Christmas being Nat King Cole? Do a little bit more. Speaking of Christmas, some people have asked me, is Christmas really a thing over here in Korea? Kinda is, but not like it is in the United States. So they'll have Christmas sales and stuff like that, but not really. I guess as time goes on, it gets more Christmassy. They'll have Christmas decorations up and in stores. So but we're not real big Christmas people anyway. I don't know, if you get older, maybe that's the reason. I'm so wanting to do something else. That's the other problem I have, is that I want to do larger things, but I like finishing things up. I'm not real good on long-term projects. I mean, I was in the military to some degree, but for something that just takes a long time, it's like, I'd rather do something, knock it out, and be done. And I'm not real good at doing multiple projects at the same time, different projects at the same time. So I get sidetracked. That's why if I do like a cosplay armor, that is going to be kind of a different type of thing for me. Yeah, this is kind of soaking into the material. It's not really kind of like on top. So, oh well. So I'm kind of trying to go a little bit quicker, and just because I realize it's not going to like really pop. It's just soaking right in there. What can you do?
I'm gonna go have coffee with Eugene.
Okay.
For a little bit.
Alrighty. Love you.
Bye.
Alright. Dang it. Dang it. Yeah, I mean, this will break it up a little bit, but again, it's gonna soak into the material. I guess if I was really wanted to do this right, I should have primed it and did all that stuff. But I didn't, so it is what it is. Oh well. Just take it as it goes. Just be lesson learned. This will be good enough. Good enough. So there's something to be said for having a multi-material system. And even with my K2 Plus, if I bought like black and then like a red, do all the red and paint it, you know, with the slicer, it would definitely be a lot better. Save a lot of time, that's for sure. But it is. My hands are way too shaky. That's why you need a multi-materials printer. Kind of like that that bamboo vortex or the Prusa with the index system. That way you can just have the machine do all the work and you would be good. Which, that is very tempting indeed. So, we'll see what happens. We will see. Let's see if I can clean this up a little bit, because I think we're done for now. I think this will be good enough. It breaks up some of the stuff, the vast expanse of red and black with the different colors, the contrasting colors. So I think that works out pretty good. And then, yeah, I think that'll work. I love the auto backup when a filament runs out. I know, right? That is really good. You got to appreciate that. And that's something. My CFS has been acting a little bit funny at times. So one of them kind of goes in and out, and I don't know if I've cleaned it out and everything, but I'm still having a little problem with it. But yeah, it's nice to just go from one spool to the other, to the other, to the other, and not have to worry about, stopping and reloading and stuff like that. So, and then the other thing I started doing, since I figured I was just going to print mostly with one color, I started getting the 2.5 kilo spools of Polymaker. So we did that, and that you were able to get a bunch of prints off of that, obviously. But yeah, with a multi-material system, you can go from one, and as soon as that runs out, boom, it just goes right into the other one. So yeah, it turns out pretty good. Okay, so there it is. We can see. I think that turned out okay. We got some a little bit of different color in there to break up some of the vast amounts of black and red. I wish it was a little bit more, but a little bit more vibrant, but that's my bad. It is what it is. But this is good enough for, obviously, what we're doing, the display and stuff like that. So I think we're good on that. And the Arteco paints are pretty good. They're pretty good, and they're not super expensive compared to like the Army Painter. Army Painter paints, you definitely want to keep those for your miniatures. Or the Citadel, because those are like almost $7 an ounce. Whereas the Arteco is like 60, 70 cents per ounce. So yeah, it's keep the miniature painting for miniatures. So let's transfer back over, and we'll go back to the desk, and we'll do a little bit of talking, maybe. I guess I should turn this light on, like so. And boom, we are back. And no, we are not testing out multiple cameras, because what we're doing was that there on the paint station, and boom, that's what we're doing on that. So just chatting a little bit, seeing what goes on. So we got that. Yeah, good stuff. Been enjoying what we've been doing. I need to get some other shirts. This t-shirt is like really old, and it kind of droops. So I don't know, maybe I could put this, maybe I should put this on the hat like the young people do. Maybe I could do this. Just kind of off to the side here. Kind of like that. Does that work? I could put it on the other side. So kind of hide it a little bit. So we got that. Yeah, seems to work out good. So that's so good. So anyway, that's what we got going on. So I think we're pretty much done with the sword there. As you can see, there it is a little bit. We got some color. We got some black on there. Got some red on there to kind of break up all of that. And again, that sword ends up being pretty good. And it is the beast, if you can see that. That is a beast of a sword. I mean, I'm 6'2", and this thing comes up to just below, right in my sternum. So yeah, this is kind of a big sword. And we can see, so there it is in all of its sword gloriness. We kind of put in some colors there a little bit, kind of make that pop a little bit, give it a little bit of detail there. And I think what we'll end up doing is we'll go through and then we'll take this and we'll paint it. We'll do some clear coat varnish on it, some high gloss varnish, and I think that'll be good to go. So yeah, and then this will go right up here. You do that. Now I can do that, or I can do that. I think that looks good. So there it is. Dun dun dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun. So, the Crimson Sword. We did a little bit of painting on that, as you can see back in the background. We did that, and that is up. So if anybody's got any questions, now's your time to ask. Questions about me being in Korea, retiring in Korea, me doing hobby stuff, 3D printing stuff. I've got the Creality K2 Plus, so that is always fun. Always got some good stuff on that. And then, let's see, what else we got? I think that's really the big stuff. Some of the other stuff we're thinking about, I'm thinking about getting parallels for my Mac, so that way I can run Windows on my Mac. But as I was looking at that, that's, where is that? Okay, George says, I love the auto backup when a filament runs out. We talked about that. And the drying while printing. Yes, that's true. You should look at Frostmourne from World of Warcraft. Really? Let's take a look at that and see. Let's see, Frostmourn from... And I didn't get into the big World of Warcraft thing. I had a younger brother that did some of that. Let's take a look at the desktop and see what we end up seeing here. So, ooh, that's a pretty cool looking sword. Frostmourne. Let's go Frost STL. See what we come up there. Ooh, CG Trader. Oh, that looks pretty cool. Well, let's see what that looks like. Wow, look at that. Lich King, Frostmourne. Yeah, my email address, officialtheverylife@gmail.com. 3545 1195. Got some different versions, 40, 27, 12. Oh, that's full figure. That would be pretty cool. CG Trader. You're gonna pay some money for some stuff there, but let's take a look at that. Version 3. See what that looks like. Ooh, I like that already. Yes, I like that. That looks good. Oh, wow. That'd be a cool sword to do. I like how it's got the runes and everything, and how it has the Little like notches in the blade. That is really good. Like the handle with the skulls on there. That looks hot. Let's see what else we got. Oh, that's a bunch of different pieces. Okay. Ooh, ooh, that looks nice. Maybe I'll have to do one of those. I like that. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You can do some silver. Oh, I like the blue. You like that? That looks good. Either do that in like blue or red, and then maybe put in, yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Let's see what they got on Maker World. Maker World. That's an old D&D set that keeps your stats and skills and all that stuff. My daughter's into D&D, so she would get a kick out of that. So that's what I was thinking about, getting a multi-material or multi-head system like this Snapmaker U1 or a similar multi-head, you know, like the Bondtech or whatever. So let's see, FR Frost, MOURNE, Frostborn. And, ooh, he's got one. That's the same guy that did the Crimson Sword, is this one right here. Let's take a look at that. Ooh, look at that. A little bit different, but a little bit the same. Oh, wow. So it's got like a whole floor display type of thing. Again, I like that. And with the blue inlay, you could put some blue inlay on this piece in here. Really accent this by making this dark on the skull, on that stuff. You get some more details, you know, a little bit dark in those areas there. It looks like it's 0.2 millimeter. That's pretty good. That looks good. I like that. Boom. Nice. Nice. I think I found the next sword. Thank you, sir. That would look good. And it's free. So on the other one, on CG Trader, you're looking at $25, $30, $40. Here on Maker World, it ends up, it's free. That is nice. Oh, that'll be good. Handle part A and B, printed out in PLA Basics. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should just get some metal metallic looking filament and do that. That would probably be pretty good. Let's see what the video looks like. I'm not going to do the audio because I got a strike off of my last one where I played that. But look at that. That is nice. That's a bamboo. Yep. Except the handle, I might want to split it in half and do that. That way it's a little bit stronger. But that, ooh. Oh, and that's the base. That's the holder. Holy crow. I don't know if I'd do that. I would do just like a wall hang thing like we did with the other one back there. All right. Let's get back to the nice. Oh, just screaming for, that is just screaming for some dark or black in those recesses where like the eyes of the skull and stuff like that. And then the horns, you could probably actually do like a bone color on there and then put a dark wash to get in. That would look really hot. And then the base. Yeah, see how they put the black in there. They should have done the same thing with the sword, I think. Wow, That's pretty wild. That looks pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Installation manual. He does some good stuff. This, I like it. He's got, with the sword that we just ended up doing there, the Crimson Sword, it did come with a PDF on how to assemble it and all of that stuff. Shows all the pieces. So I was really impressed with that. Oh, okay. So he's even got a color guide. Metal chrome is the main color, reddish brown for the fabric on the hilts, dark gray for the shadow areas, dark metal for the blade, sky blue for the runes. Wow. That looks pretty good. I like that. I like that. Wow. I would take the horns and I would do them in that bone color to add some more. Is it glow in the dark paint? Nope. So we put LEDs in there. Whoa. Nice. Let's see how that one turned out. That is pretty good. Yeah, I'd want to do a bone color on the horns. So that way you really get a, because there's too much gray, I think. So if you did like a bone color for those horns, and I would do like a darker brown. That looks good though. I like that. Nice. Let's see how this guy's turned out. Oh, he did the, look at how that turned out. Nice. I like that. That really ties in the, that blue. Oh, he did a great job on that. So you see how you got the blue runes there, and then you have the blue in the eyes and the mouth. Oh, I would so do that. That makes a lot of sense. Oh yeah, that looks good. He did a great job on that. Connecting the rods that go into the middle were really hard to print. Not sure why. Literally had to bang the model on the floor to get it in. That looks like a good one. I think George, that will be the next one I do. I think that'll, I do indeed. And since it's free, that's the one thing that Bamboo Labs in their maker world, they've got so many great models. And if you look, like if we go to the K2 Plus and we type in, let's see, Frost, M-O-U-R-N-E, and I bet you we won't get anything like that. Well, no, we do. Oh, that's a wall mount. So there's that. I think people just ended up stealing the, must be, but these are all cost some money. So let's see what the free ones, see if there's any free ones. Oh, there's some free ones. Yeah, okay. But then, boom, it's pretty much, yeah, that's it. There's not a lot of, compared Maker World with Creality Cloud, and it ends up, Maker World does a hell of a lot better. So this one has got the wall mount. Okay, go back. Can't you just do the picture of the wall mount by itself? I guess not. Settings makes, no one's made that. But he has done this one. And that's basically the same thing. Let's see, does anybody make that? Nobody's made that. Huh, that's kind of odd. Odd indeed. So yeah, and boom, there it is. That's it. You don't really have as many options as you do with what you find on Maker World. So yeah, I think I'll There it is, Frostmourne, Sword of the Lich King. That is going to be the next one. Thank you, George. I think that's going to be a really good one. I like that. I especially like the blue ruins on there. Again, I think if you took the skull that is on there for, let me see if we can find a. See if we can we do that? No. I think we got to do this. I'll just do a little screen capture thing here. Boom. I'll bring this up. But that looks pretty good. I mean, look at that. Of course, on the sword itself, it doesn't have the little icicles hanging down on that. But that is pretty good. I like that. That is really nice. So again, like I said, I'd end up doing the horns with a bone color, maybe even, I don't know. I get it, but I think maybe even doing the skull, maybe even doing that skull with a bone color on there would be pretty cool. Because then you'd have the brown, you could have the skull, you could do a real dark wash on that, and that would really make that thing pop. Oh, but that is just nice. I don't know if I'd do the base. I'm not a real big fan of the base. I'd probably just do the sword, and then, yeah, that would be good. I like that. That is nice. Thank you, sir, for recommending that. Because the browns are pretty good. You could end up taking, let's get another screenshot. I'll throw that up on here. Boom! That way we can put a little bit of... So with that, like I said, maybe do the entire skull with the skeleton bone color and then the horns. You could do that, and that would really, because there's a whole lot of silver there. Either that or like what the other guy did, you could take the eyes and on the eyes on that, kind of like, let's go back to this. Kind of like what that guy did on the eyes here. And have that with the same blue for the blue runes that are in there, and that same blue right in there. But then if you made this because it's a lot of silver, you need something to break that up to really make that pop. That's why I was thinking maybe take this and then make it a skeleton bone, and that would look pretty wild. And then with the skeleton bone, you could do the dark eyes, the dark recesses, and you can put it in, you could paint in some of that blue there that you do with the runes. The runes, I would do some of that blue right in there as well. So yeah, you see how you got the blue and the runes there. I would do that same blue here because that would tie that in a little bit better. And then, like I said, skeleton bone for the skull and the horns. Little darkened areas in there. That would really make that pop. And then maybe on here on the hilt, like those little things there, we could do that in like a red ruby type of thing. Hey, we got Zombie Hunter popped in. Hey, welcome back. We are, George just kind of clued me in on another sword that we're gonna do. And that's that Lich King sword. And that's the base. We're not going to do the base, but I mean the sword looks pretty darn good. I like it. Yeah, make that skeleton bone, make that skeleton bone, because it's just a whole lot of silver. I mean, honestly, that is, in my opinion, that's too much silver. I mean, the brown is good for the leather wrappings on the handle and everything. That's really good. But all of that, I think if you made that skeleton bone, that would look good. And then like I said, down here like those three dots there, you could make those like rubies or something like that. Same with these little dots here. You could do, you know, you throw in some green or red or whatever. Same thing with these dots here. You could make that like a red or, you know, a dark blue, because that would tie in with the blue of the runes and stuff that you got like right there. Yeah, that, I like that. I like that color brown. That is really good. And then you could do, oh, I didn't notice it had skulls on the pommel. So you could do skeleton bone on that as well. So, yeah, that would be good too. Let's see, what else can I? Okay. So yeah, that would be pretty good too. That is a good looking sword. Look at that. Nice. I think that's what we're going to do, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. We'll do the Lich King sword. So we'll just kind of, that'll be the next project I think we'll do. So we'll just leave that up on the side there and just kind of like, yeah, just food for thought. Food for thought. Now back this way. There we go. So yeah, that looks really, really good. Yeah, like Zombie says, that looks really cool. I like that. That's good. That is good. Swords are good. Oh, Zombie. You didn't get to see the finished, almost finished, pretty much finished. We finished painting this. And so now the only thing left is to do the, let's see if we throw some big light on here. Does that make a difference? Kind of see what we ended up there. And then on the blade, we did some colors, shapes and colors and all that stuff. So yeah, I think that turned out pretty good. And then we'll go back and we'll end up, we'll clear coat all of this and put some varnish on here, because yeah, this I love it. I love it. I love it. And there it is in its place of honor on the wall. Oh yes, very good, very good. I like it. So yeah, we could do, that one's pretty much done. Like I said, we'll do a high gloss varnish on there to try to lock everything in that we painted, because just need to do that. So we'll do the varnish and we should be good. And I think the next one will be this Lich King sword, the Frostmourne, that we found, or that George found, recommended on Maker World, which is free, whereas compared to CG Trader, people were selling it for $27, $30, $40. So yeah, I'll go for the free. Love it, love it, love it. So yeah, that's what we got going on. Yes. Zombie said it looks cool. Love it. And the other thing I was thinking about doing last night for that sword, make another one and then cut out all the, get a Dremel and then cut out all of the designs in the sword. And it's pretty, let me show you what I'm talking about. So on all of these areas here where you have these colors, just cut that out with a Dremel and do all of that, all of those runes in there, or whatever that design is or whatever, cut all of those out and then put a LED light strip down here. That would be cool. So that way you'd end up having it light up. And I don't know about doing the stuff on the sides here, because that would, some of that would get pretty close to the edge and it might compromise the integrity. But definitely for these big ones, you could like Dremel all of those out and then put an LED light strip in here, and that would look pretty cool. So yeah, that would look awesome. So we're going to end up going through and again putting a high gloss varnish on there, and we should be good to go on that. So yes, it is good. Sometimes violence is the answer. So yeah, that would be really cool. But I don't know if I'd want to do a whole other sword to go back and redo that just to put an LED in there. But with that said, with the Frostborn sword that we have right here, we could do that sword, and you could probably run an LED strip through that. So, like this guy did. So he did LEDs. Let's see if we can get that. So he did LEDs on that part of the sword as well. So I think if you did an LED strip there, and then maybe even with the eyes further up, that would look really cool. Oh, so how did you LED? Made some changes to the models, so I have some space for cables, LED, and battery. Any chance you could upload the LED edit? I uploaded the model, my model, STL's in the body. You need to drill a hole for cables or use the connector hole for it. Oh, cool. Look at that. Nice. Ah, pretty good, pretty good. So I'll have to check that out. We'll see if they remix that. And this person here, Titani, let's look at all the models. 54 models, good Lord, she's been busy. Got some cool stuff. But we want the sword. She doesn't have them. Really? Let's see, sword. Please, please, please. No sword. Oh, no. No, no. In the body, you need to... Interesting. Super glue, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. Interesting, interesting. So yeah, definitely that sword looks pretty good. Definitely looks pretty good. George says, knowing is half the battle, the other half is violence, extreme violence. Could be. Otherwise, how are you going to enforce your rights? And do people have rights without violence or violence as the enforcement of those rights? That would be an interesting thing. I was chatting with a guy, we were talking about rights, we were talking about the Constitution and how there's rights that people have, human rights, you know, things like that. And then lately there seems to be a lot of people where they end up talking about, well, medical care is a right. And it's like, well, no, I don't think so. It would be nice. I mean, I'm all for national health care. And for example, here in Korea, they have national health care. It's like $110 a month, and everybody is covered. So I just find it amazing that, like, when I looked it up, there's like 36 or 37 different nations around the world that have national health care. Some of them don't work well at all, kind of like the UK or Canada. They have failing systems. And a lot of other countries have failing national health care systems, but Korea, their system works pretty good. So I'm all about quick and easy. So why couldn't the United States just do copy and paste the Korean national healthcare system and make that the system in the United States? It'd be like, oh, we can't do that. Oh, what? I forgot, because our insurance and lobbyists and big pharma and all that are all into bed together. So when you have insurance, companies and doctors and all that raise their prices, and then insurance goes up, and then coverage goes up, and prices go up, and so it just kind of keeps going up and up and up. Whereas in Korea, they have a little bit of a better handle on medical, and it's more regulated. So the price of an X-ray here in Pyeongtaek versus Seoul versus Busan versus some little hospital out in, away from Seoul or whatever, you're going to pay that same amount. Whereas in the United States, you're not going to get that. You can get, an X-ray. In some places, it'll cost you 5, 6, 7, 8 times the amount of what it is in other places in the United States. So yeah, that's very problematic, and then get into medications and stuff like that. That is very a problem as well, because medications in the United States and most Western countries are really high. Here in Korea, the medications, the exact same medications that I get here in Korea that I got in the United States, way less expensive, like dirt cheap expensive. Maybe not dirt cheap, but it is significantly less for medications. So yeah, I'm all for national health care, but yeah, there's got to be a smart way to do it. And when you're overcharging, and when you can't, get a clear answer on your hospital bills in the United States, well, how much is this? What do you mean I paid $150 for a bag of Ringer lactate when it's like buck 50, and other hospitals charge like $25 or $50. Again, there should be some regulation within the prices of that stuff. So, yeah, but that's just me. I don't know. I'm just kind of like complaining. But Korea's pretty good. I like the Korean healthcare system. It works well. So it's different, but it works well. Let's see what else. I think that's what we got going on. And maybe for that Frostborn sword, Sword of the Lich King, I might have to look up and see what type of silver filament and Polymaker silver PLA. And then maybe we can find some pretty good color on that silver PLA. And we could just print that whole thing out, and that would save us a lot of time, because I don't want to repaint or redo everything. So I'll have to take a look at that. They wanted to force people to buy insurance, but didn't put a leash on how much people could be charged. That's true. That's true, because they're all in bed with each other. Need like a metallic PLA. Silk. Metallic silver PLA. So I'll have to look at that. That'll be interesting, and have to do some test runs on that. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. We're talking about, let's see. No, I didn't want to do that. Handle, wall mount, 70% size. Good Lord. I just want to know how much filament it was going to take. So for the body and the horn not glued, 9 to 10 hours of printing. So that's that part. I don't know. I just have to download the STLs. I think we could do that. George ends up saying Elegoo has nice silver. Yeah, I'll have to check into that and see. Polymaker's got some silver. Polylite silver. Looks pretty decent. Yeah, some companies I've never heard of before. High metallic shine, silk. Companies I've never seen. Flash Forge. Reality's got some silver. Kind of metallic-ish. So I don't know. Polymaker? Metallic silver, Polymaker. I'll have to check that out and see what we got. So yeah, that would be pretty good. I'll have to look into Elegoo too. Elegoo silver. Let's look at that. Elegoo. Dun dun. Not bad. Silver gray. Airy One. I'll never buy anything from them because they lied about their printer. So we got that. So many, so many. Sunlu's got some decent looking stuff. Geetech looks really good. That's a good looking silver there. Kind of taking a look at the different colors. So that's a good looking silver. Flash Forge, more like gray, not like that. Elegoo, that silver's not bad. So yeah, maybe do something like that. 4-pack. Silk PLA silver. That looks pretty good too. I've never heard of that company, but obviously they've got some pretty good ratings. How does the 2000? Oh, might have to go with Elegoo Silk PLA. That looks pretty good. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, we'll take a look at some of the recommendations for the filament, and yeah, we might have to do something like that. I think the next purchase is probably going to be that Parallels for my Mac, and then start looking forward to jumping on and trying to do that armor. So, yeah. Parallels desktop for Windows. Or for Mac so that you can do Windows. And the price for that one-time subscription is $219. Dang it. Maybe they'll have a Christmas sale. We'll see. George ends up saying that he talks about that Geetech Silk PLA. They are great. Yeah, I noticed that. I was looking at that, and that looked really... I never heard about them before. But that looks pretty good. Matter of fact, let's run back into that. So there that is. 17 bucks. That's not bad. But that's a good looking silver there. That is pretty good. So yeah, something like that would be good. That's not too bad for the price. 1 kilo. I'll have to keep, yeah, maybe I'll do that one. So between that or the Elegoo, those look pretty decent. So I'll have to take a look at that and see what happens. So yeah, yeah, another sword. So that means we got to have another wall stand that we can end up doing to hang that sword up. And then, yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe I could... Maybe I'll put one sword on one side and then one sword on the other. But then to showcase the swords, I would have to do something like that. So that way I would have the sword on the left on the blue side, sword on the red side, which would look good because one sword is red and then the other one over here could be hanging right there and that could be the blue. Oh, that would look good. It's all coming together. The universe is speaking to me. Yes. I think that could be pretty good. All righty. But until then, we'll just kind of zoom in here a little bit and do that. So, yeah, that's what we got going on, folks. I think what we're going to end up doing, we're going to call this a day. And thanks to George, we've got the next sword that we're going to do. So probably going to have to order some of that Geetek Silk PLA. We'll have to do some test prints on that. Download the STLs for that Frostmourne sword. We'll put that into Creality Print, and we'll get some estimations of how much filament we're going to need. So that way we can do an order from Amazon and have it shipped here to Korea, which will take about a week and a half, 2 weeks. And so, yeah, nothing, it's not going to be a quick project. So, yeah. George says he likes that Geetek Silk PLA. They're great. He says it runs really smooth. And he's using some gold right now for making ornaments. Cool. Nice. I will have to check that out. Okay, with that said, I think we're going to cut this because it's lunchtime. It's like just after 1 o'clock in the afternoon here, so I'm getting a little bit hungry. Getting the hangriness is starting to bubble up in my loins. Well, not my loins, my bowels are getting hangry. So we're going to cut this and do that. And so we're going to go ahead and do the obligatory outro. Appreciate all the likes. And if you subscribe to the channel, you can keep track of the stuff that we're doing. 3D printing and painting and stuff like that. And being retired in Korea, it's always fun. So got to keep my hands busy. With that, a bunch of people bought me coffee. If you want to do that, that's cool. But the best thing that you could do is like and subscribe to the channel. That would really help out. If you want to send me an email, there's my email address. I always answer my email. Sometimes it's 1 or 2 days, but I always answer. So if you want to show me prints that you've done or pictures, you just want to say hi or ask some questions, do that as well. Nedventive comes in and we have an alibi. It says, beware of the Geetek spools. I had issues in my CFS. Okay, well, if that's the case, I can always just use the side spool holder. So that's good to know. Thank you. I appreciate that. Good to know. Yeah. And since my CFS has been having a little bit of a problem on one of the bays, yeah, we'll definitely keep that in mind. And again, if I do, when I do the armor, I'm just going to use the side spool holder anyway. So, but it's good to know. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, Inventive says, have a great day, as well as everybody else that is watching. I appreciate that. George talks about, he asked what happened with the CFS, with the Geetek, which I'm kind of interested. So if everybody else wants to take off, go ahead. I think we'll go back and we'll do a little bit of an alibi if Netventive wants to explain what happened with the CFS. Maybe it's the spool itself. Was that the issue that you had with that? Says that the spool is smaller than normal and that binds up the CFS. Okay, I see. In that case, I would use the side spool holder. So that's good to know. Okay, good. Good. And that's kind of, it's funny that you bring that up, but that was something that I was looking at with the Prusa Core 1L, in the fact that it has the filament spools on the side. So let me see, Core 1L, and how. Where is it? It's a good picture of the Core 1L. Let's take a look at that. So here is the Core 1L. And that's what we end up having. So you have a spool holder there, and I think they've already made changes to how the filament goes in through the side there, because they did have some problems with that. And so I recently saw somebody mentioning that Prusa has gone ahead and fixed that. But if you saw the multi-material system with the index system, of course that would be the Prusa Core 1 INDX. No, I don't want that. I want the images. And, oh, there it is. There it is. Boom. So eventually, Bondtech upgrade. No, I want the other picture. What was the cool picture? Where's the cool picture? There it is. So there's the Core 1. And it's got the, seriously? Really? There's the Core 1, and it's got the side spool holders on that. So that's something that I was like, and that's the Core 1. That's the smaller one. But with the Core 1L, I'm assuming they're going to do the same thing when they have the Bondtech and the index system. I mean, imagine having 8 spools, either different colors, different materials, or all of the same material, to make sure that you never run out of filaments. So that's kind of good there. And then you have the multiple heads, with the induction heating and all that stuff, quicker, boom, changing of colors and materials, which is brought down to next to nothing. I'm really, really, really tempted to get the Core 1L, and then to be able to have a setup like this on the Core 1L. And so when the index system upgrade kit does come out, you don't have to worry about spool size. You don't have to worry about it like you do in a CFS or bamboo or whatever. Certain spools don't like certain machines and vice versa. Or you have to re-spool it onto a different spool. But, yeah. Ooh, doesn't that look sexy? That is just sexy. Sexiness in a machine right there. And imagine it being a Core 1. Oh, the Core 1 printers. Let's see. Core 1L. And again, Core 1L, $1,500. And I've already got that in the cart. Don't I? Yes, I do. So $1,500, and then it's going to South Korea. It's going to end up with the shipping another $162. So it's basically $1,800. And then of course get some, you're going to get obviously. Well, no, you could probably just stick with one extra nozzle, because then you're kind of waiting. I would be waiting for the index upgrade kit, which I don't know how much the upgrade kit would be. But, oh man, that would be hot. It's just going to cost a chunk of money. And with the side spool holders, that's what I think would be hot. That would be the bomb right there. So, what do we do? What do we do? I don't know. Save up nickels and dimes. George says, "Look at the Kitty." Oh, Kitty. I was this close to looking at that, and then the one guy had the Kitty and it burned down his house or whatever. If you're watching Grant 3D, 3D Musketeers, but I'm sure they fixed that. But let's see, Kitty Tech. Is that it? I think that's it. Kitty 4 Max. So there's that. Check it out. I'm pretty sure they would have fixed that fire problem. Zombie says he's back. Good, good. We've been waiting for you. We've been sitting here just twiddling our thumbs, just waiting on you. No, it's just joking. We've been talking about. I was looking at the Core 1L and how that's going to be basically $1,800. With it being in the cart, and then looking at that when the Bondtech Index upgrade kit comes out. So you're going to pay whatever that is. But imagine a Core 1L with like 8 heads. That would be awesome. So we got the Key 4 Max, which is $1,000 basically. Key Q2, blah, blah, blah. X Max. What is of course, the K2 Plus, if you just got the K2 Plus, that ends up being basically $1,000 as well. And so this one, that's basically $1,000, $390 by $390 by $340. What's the combo come with? Oh, it comes with a multi-material system. So, yeah, $1,200. I don't know, maybe. I mean, that. There's some people that have gotten some real good stuff off of that. A Borderlands mask, love it. 2mm lead screws, all of the good stuff. Reduce clogging by 90%. My Micro Swiss hot end on my K2 Plus, that fixed all of my, knock on wood, clogging problems. So I've got just over 1,000 hours on my K2 Plus, but for like the last 400 hours have been with the Micro Swiss hot end, and that has been nice. I haven't had any clogs whatsoever. I mean, I haven't had any clogs where I've had to. No, I haven't. No, I take that back. I had to get like that little push tool and heat it up and then pull the filament out. I had to do that once, but I didn't have to get a new nozzle like I did with the stock Reality K2 Plus nozzles, which I went through 3 of those. So yeah, the Micro Swiss is nice. But Kitty, and that's the thing. There's so many companies out there that are doing, good printers. There's just so many to choose from. Cobra S1 Max. Let's take a look at that. Since George brought that up. From Anycubic. Dun, 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 dun. There it is. The Max Cobra. And that's the combo. And that's $850. North America, yeah, we'll do that. Okay. $850. 350 cube build area that we got there. See if we can see some cool pictures. So which is nice. That's on par with the Creality K2 Plus, 350 by 350 by 350. So big. Bigger is better. Big does make a difference. Yeah, I can print everything in the kitchen sink. 16 colors. Unbox and print in 10 minutes. The ACE system. Okay. 4 colors, 8 colors. Let's just, the Max by itself, what does that come out to? $700. Wow. That's pretty good. Fully enclosed, active heating, 65 degrees Celsius active chamber heating, 350 high temp hot end, hardened steel nozzle, which is good. Ace 2 Pro, blah, 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 all of that stuff, Core XY, first layer on point. They all say that. Yeah, George says his next one will probably be the Cobra S1 Max. Ned Venom says, I'll have to look into micro-Swiss print head. Just had a current head get a major clog. I tell you, that micro-Swiss made a world of difference. Because I would get that clog, and then I could clean out most of the clogs that I would get with the stock K2 Plus hot end. You know, you're getting the lighter and you're heating up the thing and you're pushing it in there, and of course you're heating up the nozzle to try to push all that stuff out. And like I said, I think there's 3 nozzles that I had to replace, and the first one I couldn't clear it out at all. So that's when I had to replace the nozzle, cleared everything up, and everything worked again. No more clog error. And then the second one had the same problem, and I got it to work a little bit, and then it clogged, and then, yeah, I couldn't get it to clear, so that was the second one that went bad. And then the third one, it was working, but every now and again it would throw the error, so I'd have to like push it through with the heat everything up and the lighter and do that, and then it would work again. So then I got to micro-Swiss, slap that in there. I haven't even done a temperature tower or anything like that. It's just put it in there and it worked. So I imagine if I did a temperature tower and dialed that in, because you get a better flow rate, and the micro-Swiss does heat up faster than the stock hot end. So, that's kind of a little bonus on that as well. But I haven't, over 400 hours, I haven't had a nozzle clog. So at least that's my experience. It's worked out pretty good. So yeah, something about the micro-Swiss is pretty good. And I just ordered another one, which should be coming in. I'm not sure when that's going to be coming in. But I ordered another one of those as a backup, and then in case I order another K2 Plus, so either way I'm covered. So, yeah. Let's see. Micro-Swiss shipment, and it is in transit, so we'll see when that pops up. See all the tracking. It's going to the next facility. What day is today? Do I even know what day today is? I don't think I know what today is. Today is the 11th. So it should be, says in transit to the next facility. So it went from Chicago, Minnesota, St. Paul, then it went to Chicago International Airport, and then it's in transit to the next facility. So hopefully it should be getting here pretty soon. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it's pretty good. That micro-Swiss is pretty good. An Inventive says, just completed an ABS print followed by PLA. It took my K2 Plus over 20 minutes to cool the build plate back down to 50C. I had to leave the door open and exhaust fan on full to help. The joys of printing. Yes, gotta love it. More and more I'm getting tempted by that Prusa Core 1. That's just a big chunk of money to put down. And even then, another chunk of money for the Bondtech to come out. I mean, they got some good products, though. They got some good products, so we'll see what happens. Yeah. But then, here's something else. Snapmaker, when they did their U1, of course, that everybody was amazed at that, and I'm pretty sure they're working on another machine. So I don't think it'll be as good as Bondtech with their induction heating and the multi-heads with Prusa. I don't think it'll be as good as them, but And then, of course, there's rumors that Creality is working on a multi-head system as well. Of course, everybody's working on a multi-head system now, since Bamboo did the Vortex and Index doing their thing with Prusa. So I imagine we're going to be seeing more companies coming out. But yeah, it'll look interesting. It'll look interesting. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But the Core 1L, it's. But I do have some money saved up. So, let me see. I've got some coffee money. And I wonder how much. Oh, it's asking for a code. Seriously? Come on. So I got a little bit of coffee money going on. How much coffee money do I have? Come on, hurry up. Let's go. Dun 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 dun. Dashboard. Let's see what I got. Last 30 days. 30 days. Last 90 days. Oh, I've got $5. I've got $5 in my coffee fund. Okay. So I thought I had more than that. I guess not. Payouts? Let's see. We'll see. I have, oh yeah, because in July I had some money that I took out. Okay, so that's why. So in other words, I got $4.28 in my coffee, in my Buy Me Coffee fund. So there's that. But I do have like $300 in my YouTube money that I haven't figured out how to get it sent to me. So we got that. So I don't know. Let's see. George says my next investment will most likely be a filament recycler. Really? Wow. That would be interesting. Yeah, have you kind of narrowed down a company or a machine that you're going to get? Because I've never even considered that. I don't think I print as much as you do, obviously, but yeah, I haven't even considered a recycler. So I'm totally. You'd have to make me super smart on that, because I know. All I know is you put in your scraps and it comes out filament. So I don't know if that would be something I would do. But then again, I never thought I'd be into 3D printing or resin printing. So Lord knows. Maybe I will. But yeah, George, tell us if you've got any ideas on what companies that you're thinking about going and doing that with. That'd be interesting to see. Because maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll get into that. Or maybe somebody who's watching, probably more likely that somebody would be in the same shoes, doesn't know anything about it, and that would be an interest to them. So, yeah, that would be cool. Fill us in. We're waiting with bated breath. I'm just going to see. We're going to try to get body part, that sword. Oh, it doesn't have all the, oh, seriously. So I'm going to have to go through, so that sword that I was talking about, where is it? Is it that one? No, there it is. So that Frostmourne sword. Well, maybe I got the, excuse me. Maybe I have the 3MF file? No, that's just the part 1. I was looking at that Frostborn sword and seeing. George pops up and he says, look up loop. Okay. Let us look up loop. Loop filament recycler. Like I said, I don't know anything about that. So, lock in your 41% discount. That's a pretty small looking machine there. So how does that all work? World's first desktop 3D filament maker. So you throw in your crap, your poo, and it's got to, I'm assuming it's got to grind it up, all your waste, and then it's got to heat it up, then it's got to put it through blends, extrudes, and spools. Really? 0.01 precision? Really? That is very, wow. I would keep an eye on that. Shredding looks like from a blender. Filter, spool, power supply. Huh. That is interesting. Open source, customizable accessories. Is that going to be enough to like chop everything up into the size that they need? And what's going to be the power for that? Because you're going to need extrude, dimensions, materials. It doesn't have any specs like fuels loop, proper voltage. Huh, interesting. Interesting. We'll have to keep an eye on that and see what happens with that. I'm not sure about that. I've never heard of that before. Huh, loop. Looks pretty good. That's a pretty compact system they got there. I mean, let's see if we could do a PLA filament recycler machine. Let's see what else do we got. So the loop is definitely a thing. Filabot is another one. Let's take a look at a Filabot. No, I don't want to do that. I just want to look at the pictures. So spool, blank, that. So your stuff goes in there, your plastic, heated, then goes on the spool. Okay. Plastic pellets, materials. Oh, okay, so they got their own pellets. You'd have to buy seven, whoo, ouch. And then the extruder setups, 18 grand. Holy crow, 22 grand. Industrial setup. Oh man, let's see what this other one, AOSeed. Oh, that's their filament. They just do filament. Okay, that's not what we want. Holy crow. Loop filament recycler. Got some people that built their own. Turn your filament waste into your print waste into filament for $300 Extrude X now on Kickstarter. No way. No. Seriously? Really? I would have to watch the Kickstarter. $300. I would be skeptical on that. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Sure. Talking about the price of the previous one. I think my balls just received it in my chest. Right? Extrude X, a 3D printable filament recycler and maker. All you need to do is purchase STL files for $49, print them out, and source the rest of the components on Amazon or AliExpress. 180 to 250. Okay. So you throw all your stuff in there and out poops filament. Not just pellets, but also everyday debris like purge blocks from Bamboo Labs and others. Recommended recipe, 60% virgin pellets mixed with 40% waste of the same material to get a good balance. Affordable. I don't know. That seems kind of squirrely. 3D Devo. Let's see. Philibot we looked at. 3 Devo. Let's take a look at that one. Hey, Maker Vikings here. Hi all. Yes. Hello. Our resident Viking. So there's that. From the Netherlands. Custom and filament. Shred it, spool it, print it. Designed for professionals. There's no price listing, so it says contact us, so you know that's gonna be some money there. That is gonna be some money. Money, money, money. Let's see, Filament Maker 2. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's probably gonna be a pretty penny or two for that. Interesting. Precision control. I bet you that's a little bit. Cool. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what kind of filament recycling that George is going to get into. So you have to keep us abreast on that, George. That's your homework. Is whenever you do that, you got to give us an update on all of your recycling and how well that works out. Whatever company you go with. So. I don't know. That is interesting to say the least. So yeah. So yeah. Maker Viking says, how's everybody doing? Oh, we're doing pretty good. George is talking about that filament recycler. Loop is projected to be around 700 to 1,000. I watched the last live demo. Cool. Prior to that, George suggested a new print, new sword print that we're going to try to do, and that's this Frostmourne sword of the Lich King, which is a pretty cool looking sword. So we took a look at that, and then prior to that, spent some time doing painting on the sword that you see back there, and I guess I'll show you. Always happy to show the sword. So the last little bit that we got to do on this is the varnish. So you can see what we ended up doing. We did a little bit of a detail work, kind of add a little bit of colors. They kind of faded in, but I think that'll be okay. It's okay. And then we'll do some high gloss varnish on this, and boom, it turned out pretty good. So yeah, I think this turned out great, and we'll do some varnish on there, especially on the blade, this part here, because I think I got enough varnish on the hilt and everything in this piece But yeah, we'll varnish the crap out of this because we did the black little lines and the red lines and stuff like that. And so that turned out pretty darn good. So yeah. Yes, yes, there can be only one. If you got that Highlander reference, give yourselves a thumbs up. I'm looking forward to that. Seen rumors about Henry Cavill doing the Highlander reboot. Yeah, that. Hopefully that doesn't go woke. We'll see what happens. Yeah, it's looking good. That turned out really good. I was really happy with that. So I should have primed everything and then painted, but I just kind of got lazy. But it turned out pretty good. So we'll see. My friend wants me to make Sauron's mace for him one day. Shoot, yeah, do that. Hook a brother up. Hook a brother up. Yeah. So that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting. That'll be some good stuff. But I think that Frostmourne sword, of course, the one on Maker World, that's a little. It's weird how he's got that. We got another guy that did. We got a couple more of them. But that one, we'll have to take a look at that and check out how those. That one looks pretty good. And I don't like that one as much. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So anyway, yeah. The other thing I want to end up doing is Viking axe. I want to do some Viking axe stuff. That would be pretty cool. And then, what else? Yeah, eventually, we're talking about. I was talking about getting the Prusa Core 1L in. Just because it'd be cool and because of the index system that's coming out, I think that'd be really neat. And then, not that I do a lot of multi-material prints, but it's just a cool factor. That way I would have the two printers I could have and do armor at a much faster pace. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Other than that, that's about it. He doesn't want it printed. He wants me to work metal again. I don't think I have the strength for it anymore. Oh, so he wants like the real deal. Wow. He's going to go on a killing spree. Ooh, kind of like the Killdozer with the Sauron's mace. Man, that'd be pretty wild. That would be wild indeed. Yeah, that was another thing I thought about doing is Sauron's armor cosplay and doing that. But then it was like, I don't know. Something was holding me back on that. And then I ran across the Doomslayer, which that's the one I'm going to be doing. So hence the need for the parallels. We'll see how that goes. So, and another printer, which would make printing out the armor a little bit better. Hey, we got Piled 3D here. He popped in and said hi. Hey, great to have you. I think what we're going to end up doing is we're just about to finish this up. So we'll see how that goes. So, yeah. That's what we got going on. So we're just checking out stuff. We finished up the sword in the background that we got up there, so that turned out pretty good. Had some fun, finished painting, so just final varnish on that, and it should be good. And then we're thinking about doing the Frostmourne sword from the Lich King from World of Warcraft. And that will go on the other side over here where the blue is at. So we'll have red sword over here and we'll have blue sword over here. And then, of course, once we get the blue sword up, then we can kind of make some room and have the blue sword on the blue sword side. So I think that'd be pretty cool. I think it'd work out good. So that's about it for today. Folks, again, like I said, oh man, it's almost 2 o'clock. No wonder I'm hungry. I was going to drop this a while back because I was getting hangry. Now I'm really, you get in that part where you're hungry and you start feeling nauseous. That's where I'm at right now. So anyway, we will end this. So that's what we got going on. We'll go to the obligatory final outro. Again, coffee, email address. I answer it. If you want to send me something to say hi or show me some of the prints that you've done, do that. And on some of the other streams, I can throw it up and show what you're doing and everybody else can see it. So if George decides to do that Sauron's Maze, or some of you are doing some other cool stuff, we can throw that up onto the stream and show what other people are doing, because I would get a kick out of that. So yeah, send me that stuff. I would like to show all that stuff and yeah, see what you all are doing, because I think that'd be cool. Alrighty, so everybody, George, Zombie, Big Android just popped in. Better late than never. Big's Audio, Android, Big's Android. He popped in to say hello. We're just finishing up, bro. Sorry about that. I'm starving to death. Maker Viking showed up. Piled 3D. Let's see. George, Netventive popped in. Zombie Hunter, of course. And then did Mr. Ferrithus? We got Chill and Connect that came in for a while. Ferrithus didn't show up, so he missed out. Aww, he missed out. We'll have to give him a hard time when we see him next time. So anyway, that's it. We're gonna finish this up. I'm gonna get some food. You all do what you do. I'll do what I do. And thanks for the likes and the subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate that. It helps out the channel. And yeah, I think the next sword is going to be the Frostmourne from World of Warcraft, that Lich King dude. So we'll see what happens with that. And maybe I'll look at printing out a Lich King too on the K2 Plus. Not a huge one, but you know, maybe a smaller one. We'll see what happens. So Netvenom says, take care. Biggs Android says, I was watching. Oh, okay, so you're hiding in the shadows. Alrighty, cool. Maker Viking says, have a good one, everyone. Time for bed here. Alrighty, get some good shut-eye. Almost 6 a.m. Wow. Yeah, it's like almost 1:50 in the afternoon here in Korea. So with that being said, everybody, thank you, appreciate it. Whether you chimed in or not, always good hanging around good people, and I appreciate that. And we'll see you all in the next video. Peace. Peace. Much peace for all.